In a realm where reality was malleable, shaped by the strength of will and the power of belief, there ruled an emperor whose vanity stretched beyond mere appearance. This malleability was not mere metaphor. It was a fundamental property of their universe. Thoughts, when focused and amplified, could alter the physical world. The stronger the will, the greater the change. The emperor had harnessed this power to an unprecedented degree. Each morning, he would stand before a great crystal prism, a relic from the kingdom's founders. This prism acted as a focal point for the emperor's will, amplifying his desires and projecting them across the realm. With meticulous concentration, the emperor would reshape the world. He would think of soaring spires, and mountains would rise from plains. He would envision lush forests, and barren lands would sprout verdant life. But his power went beyond mere landscaping. With a thought, he could alter the color of the sky, the taste of water, even the memories of his subjects. The emperor's will was so strong that reality itself bent to accommodate his beliefs. If he decided that water should flow uphill in his presence, gravity would oblige. If he believed that night should last for days, the sun would cower behind the horizon. His subjects, their minds subtly altered by his power, perceived these changes as entirely natural. This power, however, came at a cost. The more the emperor reshaped reality, the more tenuous his grasp on objective truth became. He lived in a world of his own making, increasingly disconnected from the underlying fabric of existence. Enter two enigmatic figures, neither swindlers nor tailors, but reality hackers. They approached the emperor with an audacious proposal. "Your Majesty," the first figure said, voice resonating with otherworldly harmonics, "we offer you the ultimate garment, a suit of pure information that will allow you to exist in all possible realities simultaneously." The second figure, eyes gleaming with fractalized complexity, added, "With it, you'll transcend the limitations of singular existence. You'll be emperor of not just this reality, but all realities." The emperor's eyes widened with cosmic greed. "Begin at once," he commanded. As the reality hackers set to work, the kingdom buzzed with quantum uncertainty. Citizens found themselves living multiple lives simultaneously, their choices creating branching timelines that collided and merged in dizzying fractal patterns. For instance, a baker found himself kneading dough with 8 arms, each pair belonging to a different version of himself who had made slightly different life choices. In one reality, he had become a renowned pastry chef. In another, a humble bread maker. In yet another, he had never learned to bake at all. These versions continuously shifted and blended, leaving the baker dizzy and confused about his true identity. Meanwhile, a young scholar experienced the unsettling phenomenon of remembering books he had never read. With each passing moment, new memories from alternate timelines flooded his mind, threatening to overwhelm his sense of self. The reality hackers used the crystal prism as a quantum computer, encoding the emperor's consciousness into a superposition of states. Each state represented a different version of reality, all existing simultaneously. In one of these timelines, a wise child watched the unfolding chaos with growing concern. "If all realities exist," he said softly, "does any single truth hold meaning?" Meanwhile, the emperor grew drunk on possibility. He existed everywhere and nowhere, his decrees rippling across the multiverse. But with each new reality he inhabited, a piece of his original self fragmented and dispersed. On the day of the grand unveiling, the emperor stood before his subjects, his form flickering between infinite variations. "Behold," he proclaimed, his voice echoing across dimensions, "I am all things to all people." But as the citizens gazed upon their ruler, they saw not omnipotence, but a fractured being lost in the labyrinth of his own making. In that moment of collective realization, the emperor's power wavered. The wise child stepped forward, his young voice steady. "Your Majesty, in trying to be everything, you have become nothing. True power lies not in endless possibility, but in the choices we make and the realities we commit to." His words, simple yet profound, sent shockwaves through the quantum field. The Emperor's form began to coalesce, the infinite possibilities collapsing into a singular, vulnerable being. The reality hackers watched with a mixture of awe and amusement. It seems, the first one mused, that observation does indeed affect reality. And perhaps, the second added, consciousness itself is the greatest reality-shaping force of all. As the Emperor stood exposed in the nakedness of his singular existence, the kingdom held its breath. The crystal prism, overloaded with quantum information, shattered into a million gleaming shards. In that suspended moment, the fate of not just one reality, but all possible realities, hung in the balance. The Emperor looked at his hands, solid and singular, and for the first time in eons felt the weight of true existence. "I am," he whispered, the simple statement echoing with newfound profundity. The kingdom shimmered and settled, its citizens gasping as they fully inhabited one shared existence for the first time. Colors seemed more vivid, sounds clearer, scents sharper. It was as if a fog had lifted from their world, revealing its true nature. They gazed at each other in wonder, recognizing both the familiarity of their neighbors and the strangeness of experiencing a single, unified reality. The collapse of the quantum superposition had unexpected consequences. Reality, once unraveled, proved difficult to fully reweave. Citizens found themselves slipping between timelines, their memories and identities in constant flux. The Emperor, humbled by his experience, sought out the wise child whose words had shattered his quantum delusion. Together with the two reality hackers, they formed a quartet of guardians, each bringing unique insights to the task of stabilizing the fabric of existence. The wise child, his understanding of reality now far beyond his years, became the kingdom's moral compass. He devised exercises in mindfulness and intention, teaching people to ground themselves in the present moment amidst the chaos of shifting realities. "Remember," he would say, his young voice carrying the weight of multiversal wisdom, "your choices in this moment shape not just your reality, but the very fabric of existence. Choose wisely, choose consciously." The Emperor, once drunk on power, now used his influence to implement the child's teachings on a grand scale. The reality hackers, with their deep understanding of the quantum nature of existence, provided technical expertise in navigating the fractured timelines. This unlikely alliance traveled the land, spreading their combined wisdom. The kingdom became a place of constant change and adaptation, where flexibility of mind and spirit were prized above all else. In facing the chaos, its people discovered profound truths about the nature of consciousness and the interconnectedness of all things. And so, dear viewer, when you next ponder a choice or consider a possibility, remember the Emperor who tried to wear all realities. For perhaps our power lies not in being everything, but in choosing with wisdom and courage which singular self we wish to be in each precious moment of existence.